Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new, like Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet free after mail-in rebate. Leave your tires looking better than ever with Black Magic Diamond Tire Wet free after mail-in rebate during Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Ruckus. The Ruckus. Good evening. Hi, it's Wednesday, and it's time for another installment of the Ruckus podcast brought to you by badculture.net. I'm your host, Jay LaBeouf, creator of badculture.net. I'm by RB, Michelle Rosado. We are calling tonight's show Bring the Ruckus. Tonight, we make you the guest. You, the listeners, are the guests of tonight's show. We have no scheduled guests, so we want to hear from you. We're going to talk about some of boxing's biggest topics and get the feedback directly from the people, because we pride ourselves on bringing the people to the boxing and the boxing to the people. My apologies for my tardiness. It's not a black thing. I'm so sorry. I got caught in LA traffic. Coming live and direct from the Sugar Ray Leonard event. Had a chance to talk to Sugar Ray Leonard. That content will be up later on Bad Culture TV. So look forward to that. Got a chance to talk to Sergio Mora. Got a chance to talk to Jojo Diaz. Got a chance to talk to Ronnie Rios. I told him he owed me some money because he won his last fight, and he said I was good luck in Vegas, and then he won. So I think he should give me some money. But he just got married, so maybe we'll let him keep it. So let me bring in my co-host, the beautiful and calm RB. What's up, RB?
Hey, what's good?
Man, LA traffic. That's what's not good. So that's why I'm like 2 or 3 minutes late. So again, my apologies, people.
We made it.
We here. So definitely looking forward to a great show tonight, talking to these great topics with the people. By the way, if you want to call into the show, and we want you to call into the show, the call-in number is 718-508-9852. Once again, 718-508-9852. What's the good word from Phoenix, AZ, RB?
Hey, so as Jay was saying, tonight is Bring the Ruckus. So we want to hear from our listeners tonight. Normally we have people on the show that we're talking to and we're interviewing, and we can't pick up the calls during the Monday morning punch-in show. We usually pick up people to play Know It or Blow It, but we actually want to hear from you guys tonight. We want authentic reactions and opinions regarding some of the hottest headlines and topics right now, dealing with CANELO vacating, Lara calling out Golovkin's fans being too loyal, almost to a fault right now. We got Mayweather-McGregor talks happening again, things with Wilder. So we got a lot of good stuff, and we want to go to the switchboard, and we want to hear from you and let you guys take the floor and bring the ruckus with us. No filter. If you curse, it's okay. We're not syndicated yet. So we're ready to rock. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, you better enjoy it while it lasts, because once we get syndicated, if you cuss on the show, we're going to cut you. So get it out now, but that doesn't mean call into the show and be able to articulate yourselves or express your feelings without acting like you in the barbershop. Okay?
Right.
That's all, but a little, not gratuitous cussing.
So listen, we also have a pair of tickets to give away to Thurman versus Porter on June 25th. Now, I want to make this clear. Tickets to this fight are selling like hotcakes. So this is not like, oh, they're giving away free tickets and they're paper in the house. No, the higher up people know that our show gets a ton of listeners, and they wanted to do something for the fans, and they said, hey, here's 2 tickets, give them away to some loyal listeners. So stay tuned to the show, because we're going to let you know what you have to do to win these tickets. And yes, you are going to have to do some work.
That's right. That's right. We just not giving out free stuff here just because you're gonna have to work for it. But it'll be some fun work. Anything involving me and RB is gonna be some fun work. Later on the show, we will be joined, of course, by East Coast editor of Boxing Scene, Jake Donovan, who, if you listen to the Morning Punchin' this week, Jake was dropping that ether live and direct from Florida. So he's got some more news for us tonight that he's going to discuss and some other good stuff he's going to reveal to you. But I don't want to steal his thunder, so we'll bring that on a little bit later in the show. So once again, if you want to call in and sound off with us on tonight's installment, Bring the Ruckus, the call-in number is 718-508-9852. RB, let's kick it off with Irislandi Lara. Woo! Irislandi Lara has been in my timeline so much more in the past few days than probably the last year. Why don't you clue the listeners in on Irislandi Lara if they haven't been paying attention?
You know, you made a good point. Lara has really been in people's mouths lately, which isn't typical. He's been all over social media. So here's the deal with Lara is after he beat Vanez, he, in his post-fight interview in Spanish, did say that he wanted to fight Golovkin and or CANELO rematch. Now, the translator only heard CANELO, apparently, and didn't say Golovkin. So what happens is this week, Lara's team, which he has a very legitimate team. Yes, Al Heyman is his advisor, but he actually has another manager-type guy in Louis de Cuba who does a lot of his business for him, and he has a publicist named Mario out of LA or Vegas. So they put together this big press release. And so obviously this was a collective effort here, and the press release pretty much said that he wants to fight Golovkin. And so the press release goes out, and I'm like, well, shit, ain't nobody else calling out Golovkin. What's wrong with this? I'm okay with it, right? Well, the fans and boxing people, I mean, they just had a meltdown, and I was really confused the other day. Like, this man called out Golovkin on television after his fight. Then him and his team put together a press release. So obviously it was discussed right behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Why are people so upset with this? I mean, this is where I'm saying that GGG fans have almost become too loyal to a fault. You can't say that nobody calls this man out, and then somebody calls him out, and you shit all over the guy who calls him out.
Right. What's up with that?
What's up with that? I don't know. You know what I want? I want Golovkin to call his bluff. There's no reason for people to be mad. So you know what? Why don't they just call Lara's bluff? Say, you know what? All right, we're ready to make the fight. And see what happens. Call his bluff. Now listen, Lara has been saying Golovkin's name since last year. I remember on the show and even on my Twitter, I have shared with you guys that Lara wants that big fight. He's ready to cash out. He's actually ready to retire. He's got a family. He's made very smart investments with his money in Texas. He's got a couple kids out in Cuba that he could go see now. And he just wants that big fight, and he is ready to cash out. Now, I don't know why we're so upset, because Lara's not a bum, you know, and then you got people saying, well, nobody knows Lara. All right, well, nobody really knew Dominic Wade. Nobody knew Willie Monroe. Nobody really knows who Antonio Rubio, or I don't even know his name. Is that his name, Rubio? So,
that was right, Mark.
You know, let's be consistent. Why are you guys really mad that Lara wants to move up and fight this man? That's what I want to know. And how about this? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bringing the ruckus, Jay.
Bring it.
Now, how about this, though? What's Danny Jacobs talking about? Nothing. That man has been the regular champ. He's been the regular champ for 2 years. I don't see him calling out the boss. I don't see him calling out Golovkin. And then a couple days ago, his trainer does an interview and says that they need 2 fights before they even think about that fight. So how about you got Eubank, BJ Saunders, and now Lara that are saying, I'll fight Golovkin. They all making Jacobs look bad. Everybody calling this man out except for his mandatory.
What do you think Danny Jacobs is doing?
Let's open our eyes here. What
do you think Danny Jacobs is doing?
He's chilling. He's chilling. We told you on the Morning Puncheon show during Word on the Curb a couple weeks ago, he is chilling. They wanted him to get back in the ring quickly after that Quillen fight. He wanted a break. He wanted a vacation. He wanted to enjoy his payday, his family. They are all very considerate of him because of, you know, the journey that he's been on with the cancer and defeating that. And so nobody's really pressuring him to get back in there. But now they are. They're like, you got to fight. Vacation's over. So look, Golovkin fans, don't become like Floyd fans, like where you're becoming too loyal to a fight. Let's not do that. Let's not, we don't want him to fight Lara because nobody knows Lara.
We want to talk to you Golovkin fans, and we want to talk to you Lara fans. People like to say Lara doesn't have any fans. Somebody likes Erislandy Lara. I liked Erislandy Lara after that Canelo fight. I still say Canelo won that fight. I know my girl Claudia from ESPN, Claudia Trejos, we did a Google Hangout with Al Heyman, with Al Bernstein after that fight, and she and I both thought he won that fight. So we want to talk to the Golovkin fans. We want to talk to the Lara fans, and we want to know, why does this bother you? Why do you care? What's wrong with him fighting Lara? If Khan can go up from 147 to 160, we know you had a problem with that. But Lara's a title holder. I mean, Lara's probably would be a better opponent than anybody that Golovkin's fought in recent years. So we want to hear your thoughts on that. We have two people in the queue right now. Let's see if we can get them to pick it up on this Lara versus GGG thing. Ooh, Jesus. I said call in and bing, 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 bing. Looks like a slot machine. Ooh, okay. We see you, switchboard. We see you, 812-404-504-267-310-917. We see you.
That's Philly. Lord, 267, that's Philly.
We ain't messing with Philly yet.
Let's wait on that one for a minute.
All right, let's go to the 812. 812, talk to us. Triple G versus Lara. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And why?
Hey, what's up, Jae and RB? It's Joe from Indiana. Man, you said I could bring the Ruckus tonight. Honestly, I didn't even want to talk about that, but I'll go ahead. I wanted to talk about the Thurman Porter, man. I listened to the show Monday, and I really like that interview. Thurman's ready, man. I'm waiting for this dude to come out and just knock Porter out, man. And then after that, I'm ready for him to go and take out Danny Garcia, knock him out in the fall or in the next spring. This man's going to be pound for, in my eyes right now, he's pound for pound number one. But he's going to be up there. Ranked. He's gonna be ranked better than anybody else out there, man. I wish he would move up, but right now I'm all about the Keith Thurman show, man. To me, that fight, I wish it would get. I hope it gets more of a buzz. I feel like a lot of media outlets, a lot of people just not supporting it because it's PBC. But man, this is a big fight, and I'm glad I got my tickets back when they went on pre-sale. Thank RB, you plugged me up too when they let me know it was coming in Brooklyn, man, because I got a killer deal on my plane tickets, hotel, and everything because I got all my stuff back in March.
I remember. You asked me to go ahead, book it for Brooklyn, and you did. That's what's up. You got it at the time.
Go ahead.
I think as soon as the fight gets a little closer, I think that's when people will get really hyped up because I think they were really hyped up for March, and then it got postponed, and people were like all disappointed. So I think the show is still going to do well, and I think that the momentum is going to pick up probably in early June. I just think, with the Canelo Khan fight and some other stuff that was going on this month and all the attention that other people were getting, I think it took away from Thurman Porter. But they just announced the undercard. The undercard is loaded. Like, you're in for a whole good night.
Yeah, I like the undercard. I'll be there right at 5 when the doors open. I'll be the first one in there. So, but I feel like that Canelo and that Triple G stuff, like, man, that it's taken away from the actual. I don't know, maybe because I'm biased because I'm invested in that fight. But man, I hope they do like a kind of like an all access on Thurman Porter. And I got nothing against the Porters. I like them, man. They're good dudes, man. Real good dudes. To me as a fan, like I followed Thurman. I've been following him since he made his debut on HBO. But I really root for the dude, man. So, and a lot of people throwing shade at him because of that accident and all that. But that's why I hope he comes out, takes care of business, and then go after Garcia, take care of business, and then whoever's next can get it too, man. I can answer your question real quick. I don't have a problem with Lara fighting Triple G. I mean, I honestly, to me it'd be a great fight because you got Lara, who's just a great skilled boxer, and I know he's gonna, but Golovkin will come forward, so it'll be like a nice little, chess match. But honestly, man, I'm just waiting for June 25th. To be honest with you.
That's what's up. I've noticed that the Showtime cameras have been following the Porters a lot and Thurman a lot. It seems like wherever they're doing some stuff, the Showtime people are there. So I'm sure they're going to probably roll something out. I don't know if we're going to get like an all access, but I think there'll probably be some type of build up. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys tonight is a little word on the curb I got is that Keith Thurman may have been lying to us a little bit on Monday when he said that he hasn't sparred yet. The word on the curb is that's what he wants people to think. That's what he wants Kenny Porter to think. But he actually has been sparring, but that's kind of the little thing that they're running with right now. Like, oh, I don't know about my neck. I'm not sparring. But the word on the curb is he's been sparring.
Yeah, because he tweeted out Saturday night during the Showtime card. He said it felt good. On Saturday night he said that he sparred, but then I think on Monday you asked him. He said he hasn't sparred yet. But at the end of the day, he's playing them. You got to play them mind games with Kenny. Ken Porter is a genius of mind games, so you got to play with him. But it's gonna be action, man. Are you guys attending that fight, RB and Jake?
Man, we really want to. We're going to be in New York for June 11th because we got the big Raging Bay brunch going on out there.
Yeah, congratulations on that, RB. That's big, man. I wish I could go to that. I'm Puerto Rican too. If Cotto was fighting that weekend, I would have went. I would have went, man. If Cotto was fighting. But
yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in and for voicing your opinion. We're going to put you back in the queue there.
Yeah, thanks, ladies. Keep up the great work.
All right. Thanks a lot.
That's what's up. So, hey, that's one perspective. He says he doesn't mind. It doesn't bother him about Lara versus Triple G. Of the three, Triple G, tonight out at the Sugar Ray event, Sergio Mora, who's a middleweight, who's out there, I asked him, I said, hey, you about the right weight. Who's going to give Sergio Mora the phone call? Danny Jacobs, Triple G, CANELO. He said he don't care. He want to get any of those phone calls. But he said of the three, I asked him of the three, well, you'll have to watch the video. But, Sergio Mora never minces words. I asked him of the three who he thought he could beat the easiest, and you'll have to tune in and see what he said. Why don't we take a very quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will move on to our next hot topic.
If you want the best, BoxStats beats the rest. BoxStats is the best boxing app for all you boxing enthusiasts and professional boxers. Perform a quick search and get all the info you want and need. BoxStats, available on the Apple App Store. Download it for free today. BoxStats, know your opponent.
Yes, and we are back. We are back with the Ruckus Podcast. Your girl Jae, RB, live and direct from Phoenix, Arizona. We've been talking Lara versus Triple G or Triple G versus Lara and a potential of a fight. We want to continue hearing from you, so if you want to call in and sound off about that fight during the broadcast, let's do it. Why don't we move on to another topic that has been taking up a lot of space in media as a whole, not just social media. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. It was a big topic at tonight's event. It's a big topic on Twitter, on mainstream media. Is this really a thing? Are they trolling us? RB, what you think about this?
I think they're trolling. I do. There's been a lot of stuff written about it. I think even Fox Sports has been talking about it. But there's so many factors behind the scenes that I see being mountains, to climb to even make this fight happen. So let me give it to you like this. Can you imagine Mayweather Promotions doing a promotion with the UFC? It would be hell.
Yeah.
It would be hell.
Yeah.
So then here's the thing. Wouldn't Floyd have to buy out McGregor's contract? And how much do you think Dana White is going to want for that contract? 50 mil? 75 mil? 100 mil maybe? I mean, we're talking, there's just so many hurdles here because he would have to buy McGregor out of his contract. McGregor would have to agree to fighting a strictly boxing style fight in a ring. And we all saw how horrible he looked with his boxing skills, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm sure Floyd has sparring partners that box better than McGregor. Is the appeal there, Jay? Yes. Is the market value there? Yes. But the reality is this is really far from happening. I think Freddie Roach the other day said it would take 2 to 3 years for McGregor to retrain his body and his mind strictly for boxing. So I think they're trolling. I think it's, Floyd's way of still getting the attention and the limelight and all this other jazz. I don't see it happening. It's slim.
What do you think Conor McGregor's motivation for doing something like this? As you are correct, McGregor would have to get out of his deal with the UFC. We know he's been having kind of a bad relationship with them. For those of you who are into MMA, he's been having some issues with them. Dana White, who's the president of the UFC, says he hasn't talked to Mayweather. They've been doing a lot of media and a lot of press, but ultimately, how much money are they going to make from all this trolling? We know why Floyd does it, because it keeps Floyd's name in the media. Why? What about McGregor? It doesn't solve his current problem. Why do you think he would co-sign this? Because for a while they were talking mucho shit about each other in the media. Why this? What is it going to really earn?
I think anybody will do anything to be affiliated with Floyd. And then after a while, they realize that it's not that it's all that it's cracked up to be.
You're absolutely right. A lot comes with all that scrutiny and attention. And McGregor likes the attention, but he's not on the same level as a Floyd Mayweather when it comes to attention. But I think they're trolling us too. Who sanctions something like this? Is this even possible? Let's take it back to the phone lines. I'm going to pick up somebody and ask them what they think. 504, you're live. Bring the ruckus. Is Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor a real thing? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a real thing. I think they're trolling like RB said. I look at it as trolling, and plus, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Cause I know you heard about Mayweather trying to get John Bones to come over and, represent his brand, TMT.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's an angle with McGregor, too, to represent his brand.
I think you're onto something. Floyd has said in the past that he would like Mayweather Promotions to get into MMA promotions, and maybe they could do a co-promotion. He might start signing UFC fights.
Yeah, it's basically to wear his brand, wear all his TMT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he making good money selling the stuff, so this going to make, get McGregor and John Bones, so he going to make more.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people, they like to clown the TMT gear, but let me tell you, they sell so much TMT gear, especially in other countries outside of the United States. Yeah. It would boggle your mind if you knew how much he made a year on that TMT. And it ain't even that much.
He was on Fight Hype recently, and he said he make about $20 million a year.
He makes some dough. I have yet, not even just boxing. You could just be out in the mall, in the grocery store, and you'll see somebody wearing some TMT, TBE, Floyd Mayweather gear. It's everywhere.
I know, but you got some of these boxer writers that hate that his stuff sells for some reason. I don't know why. They talk bad about it. I don't understand, but there's a lot of people got hate for Floyd. Because I know he probably don't do interviews with certain people because he feel like they got agendas and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we are trying to get him on the show. So I think that we still have a 50-50 chance, which is much better than most people. Most people don't.
And you know what? That's good. Yeah, y'all got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Listen.
That is good.
So if they were to make the fight, Floyd versus McGregor, are you buying it? Are you going to watch it?
I watched the replay.
Yeah, right. That's what everybody says, and they would buy it.
I won't buy it. I'll be honest, I won't buy it at all. Because I really don't even think it's going to happen. Because like you said, it's a lot that got to go into it. And it's all publicity. That's how I look at it. It's media hype. And then, a lot of this comes from, too, because just like when they were hot around the Rosie, there's a lot of folks that hate, especially in the boxing industry, that hate Floyd so much they want him to lose to somebody. So they looking for somebody, and they just throwing names like, I hope this person beat him. Since nobody boxer beat, let's get somebody from MMA.
Well, and everybody wants to fight Golovkin because they think Golovkin can be the one to beat him. But how about this? If somebody beats Floyd now, what does that mean? Because he's already 49-0. He's already in his older 30s. It's not like they're beating a prime Floyd Mayweather. So what type of jewels are people really going to get out of it?
It's going to be a parade. Twitter going to blow up. Twitter going to shut down. Twitter is going to shut down completely. It ain't going to work for 2 years because they're going to blow up that bad. Because they got people that really, it will be like people like Steve Kim. He will be celebrating. He will literally celebrate because Floyd lost. It got a lot of people. I watch them on Twitter. These people on Twitter, they really hate Floyd. I don't know. I don't know why they hate him. But hey, they even bring up his past, even though he served his time for what he did. I guess they want him to apologize on national TV for what he did, but that's his personal business, As long as he apologized to his baby mama, that's between them. Right. But
that's personal.
But I guess they want him to be on national TV like, I'm sorry for doing what I did to my wife. I served my time. I ain't going to never do it again, which he haven't done it again.
Well, look, people are looking to crucify him. And here's the thing. Boxing is the only sport where you could have rapists, killers, woman beaters, all types of shit. I mean, seriously, we're the only sport that will continue to embrace these type of athletes. Only in boxing. I feel a personal type of way about his domestic violence past.
I understand why.
In the ring, you cannot deny his talent. You cannot deny his greatness, and I will watch him. I mean, I'm not going to be like, I'm never going to watch him again. Look, I don't like Adonis Stevenson. I think that he's a piece of shit for being a pimp and pimping out women out in Canada, and he was holding them hostage in the dungeons and all. Like, if you read that paperwork, it's
I heard about that.
But I still tune in to watch him fight.
Yeah, but I'll say this though. All right, Floyd did time for it though. He did his time for it.
He did relax. You act like he did 6 years.
No, I know it wasn't no 6 years. It wasn't a whole lot. I was just about to say it wasn't a whole lot, but he went to jail. He went to jail for that little incident. And my thing is this. If you could forgive Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson did something completely worse. In my opinion, I think that's worse. But if you could forgive him, you can also forgive Floyd. As long as he don't do it again. Mike Tyson haven't done it again. Floyd haven't done it again. We should leave it alone, because, it's a lot of boxers. You go back in time, Ray Robinson. You know about his past.
All fighters have.
Yeah, they all got their past. And my thing is, as long as they don't do it again, they apologize to the people they've done it to. Just leave it alone. We talk about basketball or boxing. Just leave it at the sport. Don't bring up their past because you hate them.
You know what I'm waiting for? All just aside, I'm waiting for Floyd to get a reality show with all his girlfriends, like Sister Wives. Like, I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be like on TLC or VH1. It's gonna be like Sister Wives with Mayweather.
You understand me?
You know what? I bet he get a lot of. It'd be like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
That would be I'm telling you right now, if there ever comes a day where Floyd Mayweather does a show with his Sister Wives, I will live tweet that show. I will hold a special podcast for that show. I'm on that. Do you know how entertaining that would be? Imagine what we don't see. You cannot tell me that these ladies all fall into rank and file like a bunch of Stepford wives. I'm sure it is cracking at the big boy mansion.
Me personally, I think it's more to it. I think it's a lot more to it than what we think. We just see what we see on the outside.
Right.
I know one thing. I just want to party.
y'all, if you follow me on social media, you know I'm a bartender. Come on, Floyd, let me just bartend one of the parties. You don't even drink. I could probably put my kids through college with one night of work.
Floyd need to mess with y'all.
He should.
Floyd
He really should.
PBC need to mess with y'all when it comes to commentating fights.
Oh, okay.
He should. Right.
Because,
we're going to start.
Y'all the best.
Thank
y'all
you.
the
Okay,
best.
you got to
keep
start.
everything.
You got to start it.
Y'all keep everything in the middle. Y'all criticize everybody, and that's how it's supposed to be. We got a lot of writers that pick sides. They don't want to admit it, but they pick sides.
Look,
they pick sides.
let me tell you something, and this is some real shit right here. There are people with agendas out there. We do not have an agenda. There are people that are on people's payrolls. I will tell you right now that RB and Jay is on nobody's payroll. We go out there, we get our own sponsorship, we make cold calls, we work hard as hell to keep the show going.
Y'all do.
You know what? With that being said, we can call it down the middle. If Top Rank has a good show, it's a good show. If they have a shitty show, it's a shitty show. And it's
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I support everybody in boxing. I want everybody to do good. That's my thing.
Right.
Top Rank, Golden Boy, PBC, Mayweather. I want everybody to do good.
I know that's right. And we want to do good, too. I'm going to put you back in the queue, my man, because we on topics. We appreciate you. We appreciate the love.
Y'all keep up doing the good work, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Boy, I think we got our guy calling in from the field. Let me just get him all together here. Let's bring on Jake Donovan, live and direct from somewhere in the world.
What's
Jake
up,
Donovan.
Jake?
Where
from somewhere in the world
is
is exactly right.
I'm going to have to get the Carmen Sandiego theme for you, Jake. What's good, Jake Donovan?
Not much. What's going on, ladies? How are you? How you been tonight?
Man, we've been bringing the ruckus. We've had callers calling in. They've been bringing the ruckus. We've just been waiting on you.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, I'm here. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Where do we even start, Jake?
Oh, where do we begin? I mean, I guess I'm stuck in the courtroom, right?
Yeah, so you have so many updates for our listeners tonight on all these lawsuits. It seems like boxing right now, some of the best fights are going on in the courtroom. You got CANELO in the courtroom. Top Rank is being sent to the courtroom today. So why don't you fill us in on what's going on with Showtime suing Top Rank? What is all that about? Okay,
so from the moment the fight of the century last year ended between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, which of course Floyd won a landslide 12-round decision. Pacquiao let it leak out that he came in, slightly damaged goods, that he had a recurring rotator cuff injury, that he eventually got healed, and now he's back to 100%. He wasn't for that fight, or so he claimed. Those who plopped down $100 to watch the fight on pay-per-view, they claimed they were defrauded, and there's been a bunch of class action lawsuits filed against all parties involved. It seems like Showtime and Top Rank have been the main two implicated. Showtime has spent the better part of the past year trying to clear its name, and having all these cases dismissed. Apparently, there's some indemnification clause in there where basically Showtime doesn't want to be named in any of these cases anymore, and I don't know if there's an agreement where Top Rank agreed to pick up the legal tab, which is pretty close to $700,000. And that amount remains disputed. The suit that Showtime filed today against Top Rank was to recover those fees, basically. Top Rank's side, according to Top Rank founder and CEO Bob Arum, was that they were still negotiating that term, and then all of a sudden they got hit with a lawsuit by surprise. So he's not bitter about it. He hopes that it will get resolved, whereas Showtime is truly going the legal action. It's just bizarre. It's basically a lawsuit over another lawsuit. It's almost like double secret probation at this point. It's crazy. I mean, when there's no fights on the schedule, I mean, these are where the fights are taking place now. This is what happens when boxing isn't active enough.
So you spoke to Bob. Bob's cool with it. He's like, yeah, we're going to take care of it.
Bob is, he was very jovial. We spoke about that. We spoke about all the woes plaguing the New York Giants, and hopefully this will be their year. But, he seemed more concerned about the Giants' upcoming season than he did about this lawsuit, to be honest. He's confident that it's going to get resolved. It's not going to drag on, as was the case with the previous lawsuit he had with Al Heyman's enterprise, which, that finally got resolved. You figure once that got resolved and these two can do business together, you figure, what else can go wrong? Everything else is all good. Nope, now we got another lawsuit to work. So only in boxing.
All right, let's go to another courtroom down in Florida in Dade County. So you were at the jury selection on Monday morning with All-Star Boxing versus Golden Boy and CANELO. What then has developed?
Well, today I believe there was a session. Today is going to be the last full session of the week. It was supposed to be opening statements and witnesses. Unfortunately, I was not on hand. I had to travel back home to business at hand. I could not stay in a courtroom in Miami as much as I'd love to enjoy my time in South Beach. But it was 2 full days of getting the jury selection. It's weird. Golden Boy is kind of sending mixed signals. I mean, I understand the statement that they want to put out there, that they want to make it seem like this is a frivolous lawsuit and it's just a promoter trying to get rich off Golden Boy's name. The lawyer they have in place, though, Michael Olin, that tells me they're taking this case very seriously. Michael Olin has actually represented Bob Arum in the past, I believe in a lawsuit against Don King, where he got that case dismissed. This guy, he knows what he's doing. He's, Alex Brito is the lawyer for All-Star Boxing. He's been dug in for pretty close to 6 years on this case. So, I mean, that's, you're going up against a lot in that regard, even though All-Star Boxing is, the smaller promoter in the undercard. So I think Golden Boy, on the legal side, they truly understand what's at stake here. Because if they lose this case, we're talking multi-million dollars. This isn't like, a drop in the bucket where they could just go do a fight and recover this money. I mean, we're talking an 8-figure settlement that's at stake, maybe even more. Some are estimating 9 figures, which I think is a little extreme. But, All-Star Boxing, this is like life-changing money if they come out ahead in this case.
I can imagine.
And I was just going to say, what do you think that settlement would be? Like 20 mil? Like what? I mean, you got, what's CANELO
I'm hearing
worth?
amounts, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm hearing amounts anywhere from, some people are estimating conservatively 20 million. Some people are saying it could be over $100 million. 100 million, over 100 million. It's crazy. The thing in Florida is that they're very known for being very liberal with their judgment settlements. So, like, if it does rule in favor of All-Star Boxing, Golden Boy could be, it could be a static at that point. They're at the mercy of the jury. And the thing in Florida, too, is even if Golden Boy loses and appeals, they have to pay 150% of whatever the final settlement is. So let's say the jury says it's a $25 million settlement. Golden Boy has to put up a bond at that point for $37.5 million just to appeal the decision. So either way, they're going to have some money tied up for a very long time. I mean, hopefully this case reaches a point where they can figure out how to settle up and everyone just move about their business. But, I mean, these are serious charges. I mean, All-Star Boxing believes they had the first hand in Canelo Alvarez. They thought they were entering an honest agreement with Golden Boy Promotions, and according to the lawsuit, they were, Alvarez was stolen. The fighter they discovered was stolen from right underneath them. They were left in the dust, and Golden Boy decided they were going to do what they want to do with Alvarez on their own, that they didn't need another promoter along for the ride. This is according to the case, of course, not my.
I'm confused. Why has it taken this long to get
right?
to
Golden Boy and Alvarez kept delaying it. Alvarez wanted to be on here. I mean, it required him being in courtroom. It wasn't like he could just jump on a plane, make an appearance, and then, okay, I'm going to go train for my next fight. Up until a couple of years ago, when he became, the boxing superstar that he is today, Canelo was a very active fighter. And he required, lengthy training camps in order to go into a fight, then recovery period. And he felt like, getting into a court case, would slow down that progress. Now, granted, a judge could have said, well, you know what, tough. You're supposed to be fighting for this promoter, so you're going to have to come to court. But he found a sympathetic ear in court on a number of occasions to where the case just kept getting pushed back. But now it finally reached a point where he doesn't have a next fight to point to. And, people are going to say, hey, if he agreed to fight Gennady Golovkin, maybe this case gets delayed again. But, that's why we're at now. They finally agreed this would be the perfect time to do the case, on their end. Alvarez, he was the first one in the courtroom. He was in there even before Tadico DiBella and his legal team. But Alvarez came, Oscar De La Hoya came, Eric Gomez is there, Ramiro is there. Significant, members of the Golden Boy Promotions family is on hand. So, but that was the reason why this case took over 5 years. Initially, I think people were trying to claim that it was just a frivolous lawsuit. Tadico announced it right before Alvarez's first world title fight when he fought Matthew Hatton. So they thought he was just trying to cash in on, Alvarez's name. But, this case hasn't gone away, and I think Golden Boy has finally realized that.
Jake, I have a question. How does something like this even happen? Golden Boy has been in business long enough to know that you can't sign a fighter if they already have somebody. How does something like this even occur?
I mean, maybe they just don't believe the documentation that's in place. Sometimes it's just flat up arrogance. And here's what I'm going to say about Golden Boy Promotions. I mean, everyone knows it's been well documented. They had their own internal, implosion. They got Richard Schaefer out of there. He was forced to resign a couple of years ago. This was the last matter on the docket where they actually could have pinned on Richard Schaefer, because this is just, it's not named in any of the complaints, and I'm surprised that Richard Schaefer hasn't been named in this lawsuit. But most people who have any familiarity with the case seem to think that Richard Schaefer was involved. And, he's the one that decided that they didn't need Felix DiBella along for the ride, to help co-promote, that they could do it on their own, that he was the one that stole Alvarez. But none of that is mentioned in any of these lawsuits, so I don't know what the case is with Golden Boy. I don't know why they must, obviously they know something that I don't. They're much deeper in. I'm just a reporter. I'm not a lawyer by any means. But they seem to think that they obtained Alvarez, free and legal, and, that's the case that they want to prove in court. But I'm a little surprised. Like I said, when they got Richard Schaefer, away from the company and they started fresh, I thought this would be like a case where they would eventually settle and move on, say, this is nothing else. We could just start with a clean slate. But this is like the last lingering piece from that, era where Golden Boy had a reputation of, being involved with fighters who were other people's problems. I mean, Nonito Donaire was a significant case where in 2011 he was signed to fight Abner Morris at one point because Golden Boy thought they were able to get him away from Top Rank. That fight fell apart when Top Rank got him back. And, he's one of many. Manny Pacquiao was the most famous example. I mean, that, was a big part of the Cold War for all those years between Top Rank and Golden Boy. So it's
definitely a story and a case that has flown way under the radar. And it's kind of because some people, may be affiliated with them or maybe they're on their payroll and they work with them. So I understand they're not going to, share too much of this, but you are just giving it straight. You're not being biased or anything. So, look, what we want to do now is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with Jake Donovan. He's got some really, really big news to share. And then we're going to bring the focus again, and we're going to talk about Canelo vacating the belt and how we honestly feel about that. So we'll be right back.
Jake's buying us cars.
The Caribe Hilton Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico will host the 29th WBO convention October 17th through October 21st. The World Boxing Organization is a sanctioning organization currently recognizing professional boxing world champions such as Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, Gilberto El Zurdo Ramirez, Terrence Bud Crawford, Jesse La Nueva Generación Vargas, Roman Rocky Martinez. Registration forms and advertising opportunities are on our website at WBOboxing.com. The WBO also has a mission that extends beyond the ring, so help join the WBO on this fight. And for more information on the WBO convention in Puerto Rico and the Kids Drug Free program, visit WBOboxing.com.
And we're back. It is the Ruckus Wednesday night. The Ruckus podcast brought to you by BadCulture.net. Man, that commercial was jamming. I was dancing in my chair. I got distracted. If you want to call in and sound off, the number is 718-508-9852. We are on with RB. We are on with Jake Donovan. RB, take it away.
Yeah, so that commercial was hot, man. Our studio engineer, he really plugged that. WBO, they're having their 29th convention in San Juan, Puerto Rico in October this year. So you can visit their website if you want to go. There's advertising opportunities on all types of cool stuff. Also, make sure you visit the Apple App Store, and there's an app called Box Stats, and it's seriously the best boxing app a fighter needs. You do a quick search, and you get all of their information, whether it's their amateur background, their professional career, sparring, videos, everything you want to know about a fighter. So make sure you download that. It's free, and it's only available on the Apple App Store. But anyway, enough about that. Let's go back to Jake. Jake, you've got some really, really big news that you want to share with our listeners and all of the boxing world.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say, I did have some big news. I think I'm going to get changed now. I'm going to a WBO convention in October. I mean, that music got me hyped. I'm already going to June. I'm going to go back to Puerto Rico in October. But no, seriously, the news that I did want to share with all the viewers, and I want to share especially with RB and Jay. You guys have been so instrumental in the development of my career in recent months. I just wanted to tell all the viewers that I'm proud to announce I've been given an offer by NBC Sports to work with their team on the boxing side for the 2016 Summer Olympics.
Woo! Yeah!
So I'll be in studio with I'm not sure they announced the full team or who's going to be working with the Olympics, but I will be working in studio up in Stamford, Connecticut. I won't be on site in Rio, so no fear of catching the Zika virus or anything like that. But we'll be on hand to provide research for the broadcast team, and hopefully watch our American team bring home a medal. It's been 8 years in the making, and we're very excited about it. So it's a tremendous opportunity. I was blown away when I got that phone call asking if I wanted to be part of it. So very excited.
we are excited for you, and we're excited to learn more about the 2016 class because, to be honest, I mean, I know Clarissa Shields is going back, and I know there's another good kid, Shakur, that's going. But other than that,
Stevenson,
yeah, we're going to rely on you to put us down with the 2016 team. And I mean, look, Earl Spence came out of the Olympics, and Felix Verdejo, and so the guys that you're going to be covering and researching on, like in 4 years from now, they could be like the next big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a different time for the Olympics too, especially with the dominance in Eastern Europe over the years. I mean, we're seeing guys like, Vasyl Lomachenko was the best example. I mean, the guy in his second pro fight, fighting for a world title, coming within a couple of rounds of beating Orlando Salido, to win the featherweight title, then winning it in his very third fight against another Olympian, Gary Russell Jr., who had an amazing amateur career. So, I mean, there is. I mean, people, they seem to think the Olympics don't hold the same value as it used to, maybe because the way the game changed so much. It went from, actual boxing to just, pity-pat punching, in order to score points. But there's been a lot of changes going on this year's Olympics. And maybe, we get a return to, the way boxing used to be. But there's definitely a lot of talent to be found. I mean, you look at Top Ranks, stable. They went from all these superstars to now they got a lot of up-and-coming kids. But all these guys who, Robert Garcia, can't even pronounce their names. He's got to give them nicknames. But there's a lot of talent coming out of that gym.
Yeah, Jake, so, I love the fact that they asked you to do it. You're a real boxing dude, like somebody we know, not somebody who they called their agent and they look pretty, not saying that you don't look pretty on TV, but somebody who really knows something, a voice we can trust, somebody who knows something, who lives it, who breathes it.
It's amazing. I mean, it's funny. As often as we talk about people having to thank Al Heyman, I do kind of have to indirectly thank him. I mean, it was my relationship with. Hold on. I'll get that. I never met the man. Al and I have no relationship whatsoever. But the opportunity came from my working with NBC. I worked the September 26th telecast of NBC in prime time when Deontay Wilder fought Birmingham, Alabama. Actually filling in for Steve Farhood, who had fainting spells, couldn't make the trip. Asked me to make the drive and fill in his place, and that began my relationship with NBC. So whenever they appreciate the work that I put in for their team, getting all them, the notes that they need. And like I said, I'm still blown away. I can't believe that, I actually got that phone call from them asking me to work, the 2016 Olympics. I put in for a credential to go to Rio, but I never clue how, I was going to get there. So now I just get to sit in the studio in Stamford, Connecticut and cover the games. So it's a dream come true.
Jake. So go ahead. We'll let you do it. Go ahead. Thank Al Heyman. Thank God. Go ahead. Act like you.
Go ahead. Do it. You can do it.
Oh, first of all, of course, I'd like to thank Al Heyman.
Thank your wife.
Yeah, of course, thank my wife, thank my God, thank everyone. Yeah, no, I'm serious. But no, I mean, like I said, and I really want to thank you two because you two giving me the shine. You show me, probably far more respect than my writing career even deserves. So this is really why I was very excited to share this news with you listeners.
Well, we appreciate it, and I know our listeners are probably excited. And you have been such a cool addition to our show. Because you state facts, and that's what's important. It doesn't matter who the promoter is, what the network is. It doesn't matter who the fighter is signed with. We just really try to call it right down the middle as much as possible, and I think people really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the only way you can be. I know some people, they found their niche and, slamming one side, slamming the other side. And it goes both ways. It's not just people slamming the PBC. It's people on that side of the street as well, that are slamming, the other side. Why aren't HBO putting on better fights? And then people, who support HBO saying, why aren't PBC doing this and that? But it's I don't get why people need to choose sides, because eventually when those sides make up, then the first one they're going to look at is the people who chose the side in the first place. And they're like, well, if you won against me this time, who's to say you're not, going to go against me next time? So it's, our job is just to report the facts. There are plenty of writers who do it out there. Mitch Abramson is someone I talk to every single day, and, he does a fantastic job with Ring TV, former boxing scene contributor, former New York Daily News columnist. So, I mean, there are writers out there that, do what they're supposed to do. So you just have to weed through the nonsense sometime and find the news, which is our job. Far too many people lose sight of that, but our job is just to present the news as objectively as possible.
All right. So, Jake, you've been following the court case down in Florida. It seems just like CANELO has been getting his fair share of real focused hate. For the first time in his career, he's on the other side of the gun.
Right.
What is your take on this? Is it justified? We've seen people vacate belts before. Why is this so intense these last couple of weeks?
You know, a lot of time, and I'm going to take this all the way back to when Golden Boy Promotions first became, you know, a promoter. When Oscar De La Hoya first formed this company with Rich Chief, you know, when they did it, they swore that they were going to do things different, that they were going to change the industry. And every time a promoter comes in that bold, you know, people are going to hold them to their word. And when they fail, they're like, oh, this is what you said. How come you're not doing it? Everyone makes these claims. It's just who makes these claims the loudest. So now I'm going to go rewind a little bit to the moments right after Canelo landed that right-hand bomb on Amir Khan to knock him out in the 6th round of the May 7th fight. Afterwards, they insisted there was going to be no obstacles. You know, who cares about weight? You know, Gennady Golovkin wants to fight at 160. Fine, we're going to fight him at 160. They're not going to hold anything up. We're going to call you Sunday morning. Gennady, you better answer the phone call. Next thing you know, the next significant update in the case in negotiations is that Canelo's giving up his belt. That's not what fans wanted to hear. I mean, we've seen writers having Twitter meltdowns, removing Canelo from their profile picture. It was just insanity. I've never seen a reaction like this to someone giving up their belt. I mean, but maybe they felt like they lost hope in the fight happening. I was actually one of the few writers who was never really optimistic that the fight was going to happen in September. I became more optimistic actually after Canelo gave up his belt, because by doing that, he was no longer obligated to making the fight by May 24th. He was no longer obligated to a 55-45 purse split. At that point, giving up his belt, he could then dictate to Gennady, you know what, here's your belt. I'm still the biggest payday that's out there for you. If I want you to take 30%, you're going to take 30%. If I want you to fight at 157, you're going to either take that fight or you're going to go fight some mandatory contender for whatever chump change they're going to offer you. And granted, Gennady's making bank on his own, but there is no payday out there that even compares to what he can make against Canelo Alvarez. A fight where people are already tabbing him a 4-1 favorite to win. I mean, that's, if that's not easy money, you take whatever deal Canelo offers you at that point. So once Golden Boy is in a position to resume negotiations with K2 Promotions, Gennady Golovkin, I honestly think this fight will get made. It's going to have to get made at this point. Canelo cannot take any more bad press. I mean, you caught the backlash from that, and now this court case. I mean, Golden Boy needs a win at this point.
All right, RB, bring the ruckus.
All right, here we go. So I feel the WBC has been very, very kind to Canelo over the years. I think he won his first title against Hatton at a catchweight. Jake, am I correct there? I think it was like 1-1. And since then, he continues to fight at catchweights. And I think the WBC was finally putting their foot down. Yes, they get a beautiful sanctioning fee from Canelo. But with that being said, I mean, they keep letting him fight at these catchweights. So I think enough was enough, and they wanted him to man up. If you're just a fan, then yes, you are pissed the hell off. And it goes to show me that the fans still care about the belt. You know, how many times last year did we hear people say, oh, it's not about the belts. Nobody cares about the belts. Belts don't mean anything. Obviously they do, because the fans, like Jake said, had a meltdown. They do care. You know, why did he call out Golovkin on pay-per-view? Why was Oscar in back of him raising the roof? You know what I mean? Real chance to real things. If you do that on pay-per-view, and then you go to a post-fight press conference and you act like, you know, it's going to happen, answer your phone call. Okay, you can't call and say, yo, we're taking 90%, we're going to give you 1%. That's not realistic, you know. Now, here's what I do want to say. Now, if you're in the industry and you have a little more business savvy about what's going on here, then you understand why this happened. Canelo is 25 years old. He's still a baby. You know what I'm saying? Golovkin can ruin a career. Look at the people that Golovkin has fought. He's that serious. You know what I mean? Like, he's that much of a monster that he could ruin you. Canelo is keeping the lights on at Golden Boy Promotions. Why would they want to really do that fight right now? So, you know what I mean? I'm seeing both sides. As a fan, angry, pissed off, F him, everybody's writing him off. Mexico is like burning flags, and I get it.
Yikes.
On a business side, I also get why they did it. I mean, a fight with Golovkin can ruin you. With that being said, you know, I don't know.
Man,
call
damn
him
on
out, fight the fight.
Yeah, that
damn
was well said. I mean, I agree with you 100%, Darby. I mean, it's a shame. I guess people just aren't responding to, maybe Canelo's need to feel that he has to be in the driver's seat. You know, and we saw a lot of that with when he was fighting Miguel Cotto. I mean, there were certain concessions that Golden Boy was willing to make. That was just a different diva mentality in Thailand that they were, just not used to dealing with. That fight finally got made, but I'm not sure it met everyone's, I'm not sure everyone was satisfied with that event. So, maybe that's what they wanted, a little less muss and fuss going into, negotiations with Gennady Golovkin. And I guess so far we're not getting it, but, what we're also not getting is that the fight is dead. That's the weird thing, is that, Golden Boy never said we're not, going to fight Gennady Golovkin. Now, the one thing I will say, CANELO said they were going to resume negotiations with K2 Promotions. Tom Loeffler, who's probably one of the easiest guys in the industry to work with, he's let it be known that, his phone hasn't been ringing so far ever since that announcement that they turned over the belt. So it's, like you said, RB, we get the business side of it, but what the fans aren't hearing is that these two are serious and moving forward with making this fight happen in September.
And they don't care. Now here's the
Right.
thing: can we forgive Canelo? I can if he fights Golovkin in May. I know that sounds like a new school answer, because the old school RB mentality would be like, nah, he could have Golovkin next. Like, that's embarrassing. How dare he vacate a belt? But
Right.
the fan in me, I'm okay if he fights Golovkin in May. I could forgive him. Can we? I don't know. Jay, can you forgive him?
Hell no. And I'm going to have to take the asshole approach. I'm going to take the asshole approach. Because if I pay my $59.95, and I paid for the pay-per-view, because I didn't go to Vegas, I bought the pay-per-view. I did not stream it. I watched it on a TV. If you come on my TV after a fight and you say, I have big balls, we could fight tonight if you want to. That means money ain't a thing. You're not tripping off of the money. That means you all about the glory and you about your name. But then, we could fight tonight. Bring him up here. I'm going to talk shit about him too, right now to his face. Look at me. And if you get on my TV and that's your approach, then the money ain't an issue. You about your glory. You about the fight. Make the fight. Yes, 55-45 ain't fair. But if you get on my TV and you say you don't care, you don't care. What's the problem? You can always get into negotiations. Don't let it go to purse bid. Tell your promoter to pull out them pockets, and they better not be white and showing lining, and control the fight that way. So that's my approach to it. I want to know what the callers are talking about, because I'm sure they're lit in the switchboard.
Make sure you pick up the 917. Lou DiBella's been on hold. He's ready to bring
boy.
Ruckus.
We don't even have to say nothing. Here we go.
He needs his own
Lou
music.
DiBella. Hi, Lou.
Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Actually,
Hello.
it's bizarre to be listening to a podcast that's actually balanced and intelligent. It figures that it's two ladies running it.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Lou.
So, though, Jake, you're completely wrong, bro. The fight's not fucking happening. I mean, seriously.
Okay.
Come on. And I'll tell you why, very simply, it's not happening. They're in court right now. You're covering the case. You're one of the few people covering the case. I mean, you think that they're going to put, particularly, they're not going to do anything until this whole situation is settled. Now, if it goes through the trial and there's a big number, right? I mean, and there may be, who knows? But if there's a big number, I don't know. I'm not judging the case. I'm not there. It's not my business. But if they have to write a big check, you think they're going to put the golden goose in to get his ass kicked?
Right.
And you think it's an accident? He's been fighting guys much smaller than he is. I mean, forget about the fact he's a 155-pound champion. I mean, kid is a money machine, and he's a big attraction. And from a business standpoint, I don't blame him for protecting him. I blame him for being fucking hypocrite and lying and feeding the kid stupid stuff to say, so he makes an ass of himself and them. And instead of just saying, I'm not going to, go through with the fight under anything but favorable terms to me, they're overwhelmingly favorable to me, because even in a gross mismatch that performed miserably, I did multiples of what Golovkin did on pay-per-view, and I'm a bigger attraction, because that's what they really mean. But going on the air and saying, I'm a Mexican pride, I'll fight you any day, call me, Oscar saying, call me tomorrow, kiss my ass, be real, keep it real, and the fight's not happening for business reasons. Then be open and honest and discuss the business reasons. And also, with the lawsuit pending, I don't believe for a second that fight's happening anytime soon. If they have to write a giant check to Zaballa's company, which I'm not saying they will, I don't know, but it's going to be decided now. They're not putting this kid at risk in a fight where you and I know he's getting his ass kicked. But frankly, it's none of my business. But that's just my opinion. And by the way, I'm overwhelmingly probably right.
Lou, I'm gonna have to have your back on that one. If you get on my TV and you say all this mess about you ready to fight tonight, then the money doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. But now they're tied up in legal litigation.
There's nothing wrong with promotion and bullshit. Unfortunately, the reality is bullshit is part of promotion in anything, in every sport. There's an element of bullshit that's naturally part of promotion. But if you know that you're not going to come through with what you're saying, don't fucking say it. It's dumb. It's hurting the kid. It's hurting you. It's hurting your credibility. Don't say it. Keep it real, okay? Keep it real. I'll fight you, maybe. Give me 80% of the money. You want me so bad? You're not the attraction. I don't need you. I can keep making money. You really can't. I mean, you can if you want to limit yourself to HBO money. Look, like I think Golovkin's the best. I'm a huge fan. I mean, anyone who follows my Twitter feed knows I'm a huge fan. But I mean, I understand the realities of business, and that Canelo's not fighting him unless he gets the lion's share of the money. But like, I'm not so much faulting business decisions because they're people's prerogative, and what the fans think, frankly, isn't going to change ultimately. You know, I'm still getting tweets and hate mail and hate tweets about a 40-year-old Martinez not fighting Golovkin when that fight, Golovkin was nowhere near pay-per-view. There was no money in the fight, and you know, Sergio had never made real money, and people are saying we ducked Triple G. Members of the press are saying we ducked Triple G. Sergio Martinez never ducked anybody. Unfortunately, had Triple G been in a position where Sergio could have earned a big payday when Sergio was in his brief moment at the top of the game and where he wasn't getting screwed around, the fight would have happened. They never intersected, you know? But like right now, the business reality is Canelo's the bigger draw than Golovkin. Okay, I mean, economically, you know? Okay, yeah. All right, that's fine. But then don't go out there and start pulling ethnic pride and screaming, call my phone tomorrow, when you don't mean it.
Lou, let's switch gears a little bit. Let me ask you about Lara versus GGG, a Lara call-out. Is this real?
I think it's real, yeah. I think Lara will fight anybody. Now, you know, a lot of people don't love Lara. Lara's a really skilled guy. Frankly, he probably gives Triple G more problems than a guy that's going to come right at him that has no defensive ability and can't box. You know, but it's not like forget about the fact the public's not screaming for a Lara fight. Lara happens to be a good fighter, and the fact that he's calling out a guy that no one else is calling out, well, you know what? I give him props for that. I mean, honestly, I'm a big fan of Lara. I like him as a person, and I actually think he's really good. But I'll be honest, I'm a Gaddy Ward kind of guy. So it's not like Lara's style is my kind of style. It's not, you know. But I give him his props the same way I would give Rigondeaux his props, even though I don't care if I see him. And I'll give a lot of other people their props, even though they're not my first choices in terms of who I want to watch, in terms of their ability. You know, I don't blame fans for saying I don't like Lara's style, so I don't want to see the fight. But shitting on Lara for calling him out is dumb.
Well, Thurman Porter, June 25th. It was announced you guys have a loaded undercard. Besides Heather Hardy, who I love on that card, I hope she comes to the Raging Day brunch. You added a couple other fights. Can you do a quick run-through of the undercard?
Yeah, Adam Kalnacki, young heavyweight from New York, is going to be on the card. We're in the process of trying to finalize his fight. Jared Hurd, who would beat Frank Galarza on Showbox, looks sensational doing it. He's going to be on the card fighting another undefeated kid.
Molina.
Benavides, the kid that Samson Lukowicz promotes, at 168 pounds, like young prospect, tremendous power. He's fighting Francine Tutu, who's an undefeated fighter from Canada. Regis Prograis, who was one of the ESPN prospects of the year, made most year-end prospect of the year list. He's going to be fighting for the NABF title on that card. We're in the process of finalizing contracts on that fight. Jonathan Alonso, Spanish Olympian, originally from the Dominican Republic. Undefeated kid that I promote, he'll be on the card. The card's loaded. It's going to be, you know, you mentioned Heather. It's going to be loaded from the time people walk in the door to the time they leave, and there's not going to be a single fight on the card that's on paper a mismatch. The two main events are so good, it deserves a supporting card that, rises to that level. And I also think, we're going to have somewhere between 14 and 16,000 people at the Barclays Center. And
I want to be.
Yeah, we got to put like our best foot forward. And I've always, moaned and complained that too often the undercards aren't good enough, and that one of the things that a lot of times you see at MMA events is that when you walk in the door, you get competitive stuff from the beginning to the end. There's going to be competitive stuff from the time the doors open until people walk out that night. And the two, obviously, like Cuellar and Morris and Thurman and Porter are two terrific fights for Showtime. Showtime on CBS. So I'm looking forward to the card. But people that come into the Barclays Center, you're not going to see. There's no Showtime Extreme. So the entire undercard you're only going to get if you come to the Barclays Center and you buy tickets to see the fight live. And the one good thing about the way the room is set up is that we can open up more of the the seats upstairs, so people aren't going to get shut out of those seats. Now, if you want to sit in good seats, you better be calling right now. But if you just want to be in the building, I think that people are going to have that opportunity, and there are a lot of affordable seats, that are still around, and people should call to get them. The good seats, the floor seats, the good seats on the risers, those are literally flying out. So people who haven't bought their tickets yet.
Lou.
Yes.
Me and Jay want to sit next to you. Make it happen. Listen, the WBC ruled today that Wilder is allowed to make a voluntary defense this summer. And we know that you are Wilder's number one guy. You promote him. I know you probably don't know much now, but is this going to go back to Alabama, or could he come back to Brooklyn?
Right now, literally the WBC just, gave the pronouncement today that Deontay can go ahead and take this fight before they finish their quote unquote investigation. Which, I think they're doing good things with their clean boxing program. I think they've done the right stuff so far, and I'm confident they'll continue to in this area. They're also really trying to get all of their fighters who fight for the WBC to do 12-month all year round PED testing, and I think that's a huge step, and that I really give them kudos for that. But with respect to Deontay's next fight, we just really found out today. So I don't think we're going to take a look, obviously, at Brooklyn's interested, Vegas is interested. It's interesting, but I think Deontay, a lot of people, I think what just happened to him actually got a lot of attention, and there's a lot of interest in his career at the moment, and so a lot of places are interested in the fight. But I think that Alabama's certainly going to be in the mix. But right now, no decision's been made on anything. The only thing that I could tell you is that Deontay would like to have been in the ring yesterday. So he wants to fight ASAP. I mean, he was geared up. He got himself in unbelievable shape. He doesn't want to get himself out of that kind of shape. So he really wants to get in as soon as we can make it happen, and that's what we're going to try to do. We got to find a site. We got to find a television date. We got to find someone to fight, which, if you look at the heavyweight rankings these days, isn't so easy. We got.
You know who I'm thinking? I'm thinking like Chris Arreola. Like it's why not? It's just a summer tune-up, right?
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned that, but I think that there's when you look at the rankings, there's not a lot of choices, and people are tweeting out stuff about Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua and these young guys, and they're not running to make that fight on incredibly short notice. That kind of fight's going to be built to. Frankly, both Joshua and Parker are going to take a bunch of other fights. Klitschko and Fury are fighting each other. It's not going to be that level of matchup over the summer. I mean, that level of matchup is the kind of matchup that takes, months and months to promote and lead up to. And probably, honestly, if I'm promoting Parker and I'm promoting Joshua, I'm not running to Deontay Wilder immediately. So, we're going to have to figure out someone to fight over the summer. It's got to be someone that's going to bring an audience to TV, someone that can sell tickets. And if you look, like I said, if you look at the heavyweight division, honestly, it's like sort of feast or famine. There's a really interesting top of the division. And then, and by the way, a lot of the guys, like some of the guys Deontay beat up, who he got, like Molina and Duhapa, they had big wins after Deontay beat them, and they're still in the rankings, and you're not going to fight them again, and you're not going to fight Stavern again when you beat him every friggin' round. And frankly, there's not a lot of choice. So we're going to be. I'm going to have to put my thinking cap on and get together with Deontay and his management.
I just told you. You said a marketable guy who could sell some tickets, who's always in a good fight. It's Chris Arreola.
There it is.
All right, so
well,
I'm not a matchmaker.
Wait. Obviously, that name has crossed my mind.
Ah! Word on the curb.
Lou, you want to give us the word? Give us the word on the curb, Lou.
No,
make it official.
No word on the curb on this yet. Literally no word. We literally, today's the first time that, we really started thinking, okay, we got to nail down a date. We got to work out the TV. We got to get a site. We got to find an opponent. We got to, and Deontay's like, he's chomping at the bit, man. I got to tell you something. The thing with Chris Arreola, I like Chris Arreola. I feel sorry for whoever the next guy Deontay gets in the ring with, man. I do, because
another guy you promote, Lou, is Danny Jacobs, and it seems like we got Lara calling out Golovkin, and BJ Saunders is calling him out. Everybody's starting to call out Golovkin except his mandatory Danny Jacobs. When can we expect to see him back? And if the WBA does order that fight, do you think that he'll fight that fight or drop the belt?
First of all, I think Danny's another guy that wants to get in the ring ASAP, and I think you're going to see him return sometime soon. I think a Golovkin fight's not going to obviously on nobody's side, including Golovkin's, until the situation with CANELO clears up. I don't think Golovkin's going to be running to make anything like that immediately either. But I think that Danny wants to fight somewhere down the line. I think it'll happen. I don't think it's. I mean, the BA has already said they're not going to do anything in terms of calling for the fight until the CANELO, Golovkin situation settles out.
My issue with Danny Jacobs is that he's been the regular champ for 2 years. But why wouldn't he want to be the super champ? Why isn't he calling out the boss?
Well, let me ask you a question, okay? I mean,
yeah.
Neither Golovkin. I mean, you talked about business previously, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an economic business. It's live. No premium cable network can afford that fight, nor is there any reason to think at the moment it would do any pay-per-view business. So where's the economics on that fight?
Okay. That's valid.
I'm a boxing fan, right? So Crawford Postal is a fight I'd like to see, but it's a pay-per-view atrocity.
Well, we'll have to see. I was actually talking to Jay earlier tonight, and I think that it might even sell a little better than Golovkin and Lemieux. Not by much, but I think it will.
Golovkin and Lemieux went into the toilet bowl and never should have been on pay-per-view. And Crawford Postal shouldn't be on pay-per-view. Something being a good fight doesn't mean it should be on pay-per-view.
Well,
ask the public to ante up $70 or $60 on any kind of regular basis for shit that they're used to seeing in the past, live on HBO or live on Showtime, or frankly on the present. Is Thurman Porter is not a better fight than a lot of the stuff that people are putting out there for $70 or $60. I mean,
well, where does one start on pay-per-view? Because you got to start somewhere. So
no, you don't start on pay-per-view. Pay-per-view doesn't grow. Look, I used to run pay-per-view.
That's why I'm asking you.
HBO. I mean, frankly, I'm one of the experts in pay-per-view, period, and that's a fact. I mean, I was a TV executive before I was a promoter, and probably better at it, actually. But I was a really good television executive. I'm a good promoter, but
yeah,
I was really good at executive. Pay-per-view doesn't grow the business; it constricts the business. I mean, Lemieux Golovkin turned out to be a really bad move, honestly, for Triple G. And I love Tom Loeffler, and he's a friend of mine, and I actually love Triple G. But that fight not performing didn't help his negotiating posture, And it was the best fight he fought in a while on paper, even though I told everyone Lemieux had no shot at all. But that fight would have been an unbelievable HBO fight. And the numbers it wound up generating on pay-per-view, it could have been an HBO fight. And it should have been an HBO fight. And Crawford Postal should be an HBO fight. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to think that. And again, Jacobs and Golovkin, the economics probably at the moment they're very hard to figure out how that would work. No premium cable network is paying enough of a license fee to satisfy both sides of that fight. And just look at the performance of recent pay-per-views. What makes you think that fight would perform at all on pay-per-view?
Well, Lou, we're going to go to the phone lines, but thank you for calling in. Thank you for the undercard.
And Jake, congratulations on that Olympic gig.
Thank you so much, Lara. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, take your night.
Keep us posted on that Danny Garcia coming to Brooklyn in August, too.
Yeah. All right. Let's we got somebody, man, it's so lit in here tonight. I'm kind of scared to pick up these phone lines. I'm going to pick up Philly. Let's see. Let's see what we got. 267-901. Bring the ruckus. What you want to bring the ruckus on?
Yo,
who is it?
Farmer.
Tevin. Oh, Tevin Farmer.
Oh, boy.
What's up, Tevin Farmer?
Yo,
you going to bring the ruckus tonight?
Nah, not tonight. I was earlier, but I'm tired. Yo, it's a coincidence you picked me up right after Lou.
Yeah, it is. What's good, Tevin?
What's up?
Nah, I ain't that much. I want to talk about the GGG Lara.
Yeah. All right.
I don't see why people mad at that fight. I think a fight is better than no fight. If no one else is calling them out and only one person is calling them out, why is he mad about it? I don't understand that. And I actually think it would be a good fight, perhaps, than a lot of other people GGG just fought recently. I actually like that fight.
All right. Excellent. Well, Tevin Farmer, we went over our broadcast, so let me put you back in the queue and just hang on with us for a second. Why don't we take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back for a couple more topics, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night.
When the mind is ready, the body prepares for war. So next time you engage in battle, protect your hands with the best. War Tape, the original branded tape. Order yours now at wartapebrand.com and see why the enemy will fear you. wartapebrand.com. We put hands on you.
Man, this is a show. It doesn't even seem like we've been talking for that long, but we have gone over an hour, and that's okay. The boxing fans are passionate. I love the passion. It's better than just being like, it's all right. I like the passion. I like the phone lines lit up. Real quick, I went to Provodnikov versus Molina Media Day here in Los Angeles on Tuesday. John Molina, Ruslan Provodnikov. A fight that's going to be, there will be blood. Maybe they should call that fight that. Both of them are going to have promised to bring the show, to bring the fight to each other. Both looking in shape. How much defense will be used in that fight? I can't really answer that, but we know that's going to be an exciting fight that is just going to go for as long as it lasts. We will see how Ruslan Provodnikov has improved during his time with Joel Diaz. And John Molina has another trainer again. He left Joe Goosen again. And so I can't remember who the trainer is for this fight. It was told to me, but I can't remember. But he has a different trainer in his corner for this fight. So we shall see how it happens. Jake Donovan, Provodnikov versus Molina. We know there will be blood, but whose blood is going to get spilled on the campus?
Oh, man. I think this is a very good opportunity for Ruslan Provodnikov to have a great debut on Showtime. This is a really good showcase performance opportunity for him. That said, John Molina Jr. has definitely upset the apple cart before. I mean, he proved it against Hank Lundy. He proved it against Mickey Bay. I mean, both of those fights he was losing pretty much every single round, came back and scored a dramatic knockout. So he does have a flair for the dramatics. Maybe he pulls a rabbit out of the hat in this one, but I think this is a really good fight for Provodnikov to look great and return right back into the 140-pound mix.
I agree with you, Jake, but the undercard fight that I'm looking forward to is the Andrade versus Willie Nelson fight. I think that this matchup is flying under the radar. Both guys have been pretty inactive, so you can't say, oh, well, one is more than the other. I think it's a good matchup. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Demetrius Andrade will pull out the win, but I don't think it's going to be pretty or easy any way, shape, or form. I like the matchup.
I loved it.
Right.
It's funny, RB, you put up a poll. I think it was last week. You asking for the best. I guess it was right after the Showtime card. Asking for the best 154-pound fighter in the world. I mean, with the right amount of activity, it could be Demetrius Andrade. This is a great fight for him to prove his worth in that division. Talent-wise, he's right there. I mean, he needs the actual wins in the ring to prove that he is the very best. If he beats Willie Nelson, I mean, he's right there in the mix. He's right up there with the Charlos, with Erislandy Lara. He has all the talent in the world, and he's a 154-pound guy that a lot of guys are not going to be in a hurry to face. So, like you were saying with Lara calling out Triple G, he's one of those guys. Eventually, somebody has to fight him.
I know. Let's see. We have actually, Jay, I don't know how many minutes we have left, but Marc Abrams just sent me a text message, and he wants you to bring him onto the show. Is there a number in the queue that would read 856?
It sure is. Let's bring him on.
Marc Abrams.
Here he is, the man of 10,000 emails.
What's happening, ladies? How you doing?
The hardest working man in boxing.
He's sending us an email right now.
I got
14 press releases.
Oh, and you got my man Jake Donovan on as well. This is like a dream come true.
What's going on, Mark?
What's going on, Jake?
Are you sending us a press release right now?
No, I'm actually sitting on a plane. If I could send a press release, I would. I'm in Chicago on my way back from LA. I saw the lovely Jeandra yesterday. She attended our event, the Ruslan Provandikov Media Day. It was a great turnout, Jeandra. What'd you think?
I think it was great. The parking lot was full. Some great folks in the gym. Showtime was there. The guys looked primed and ready. They hammed it up, but they're definitely ready for a serious fight, and it's going to be a good one for anybody who tunes in.
It's going to be a great fight June 11th. We're just sitting here ready to depart here on the runway. As you can hear the flight attendants get ready to tell me to shut this thing off.
All right,
tell
we'll
the pilot to get on.
He said hello.
Will do. Will
All
do.
right.
Have a great show, girls. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you soon, Jake.
All right, Mark. You got it.
Safe travel.
Dang, I'm just waiting for Carl Moretti to call in next.
I know.
Listen, I think we're going to wrap up here. I want to give a couple shout-outs. I've been working with John Francis LLC, and I'm just going to plug this real quick. And we've been educating fighters on how to protect their wealth and how to make smart investments. And there are policies out there for fighters that, they can protect you. God forbid they get hurt or anything like that. It protects their family. So if you're a fighter, a trainer, a manager, a promoter, and you're listening right now, contact me. I would love to get on the phone with myself and John and you and talk about ways to protect these fighters better. A lot of them don't even have insurance. A lot of them don't have life insurance or anything whatsoever to protect them. And unfortunately, we see what happened with Pritchard Colon. And we don't want that to happen to anyone. But if it does happen, we want to make sure you're protected. So John Francis, shout out to him. War Tape, best tape in the game, the original brand athletic tape. And definitely want to say thank you to Box Stats. Make sure you download their app on the Apple Box Store.
And we did not forget about the tickets. We didn't forget about the tickets. We do have those tickets for the upcoming Thurman Porter fight to give away. In order for you to win these tickets, you have to tweet us to RB and J. I'm Jay. What is my Twitter? Michelle bullied me into changing it. I don't even know what my Twitter is. Jay LaBeouf. You have to tweet Jay LaBeouf and Raging Babe a picture, not your address. Put your finger over it. If you have a New York photo ID, cover up your address and tweet a picture of your New York ID to RB and J, and then we will take all of our entrants. We're going to put them on the spinning wheel, and then we're going to pick a winner, and the winner will win tickets to the Thurman Porter fight at Barclays Center, and you can thank RB and J for that. So you must have a New York ID. That way we know you live there, and you won't just throw them up on StubHub and sell them. Before we sign off for the evening, I must congratulate our man, Jake Donovan. That is so cool
Thank you.
For those of you who just don't grasp that, we complain so many times when we watch these sporting events about reporters asking stupid questions. Jake is a person who lives and breathes this sport. He's not going to ask these stupid questions because he knows what he's talking about. He's not just somebody they picked out of a hat and went, oh, he looks good on the pictures. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he actually knows he has the depth of knowledge to represent the sport well. I'm very proud of you. I know RB is, and we look forward to seeing you doing great, great things on the Olympic telecast. So congratulations to you once again. I'd like to thank all of our callers. Woo, you guys are on fire. We couldn't even get to all of you. The switchboard looks like a bingo board. Bingo. And I want to thank, of course, my girl RB, the co-host, always holding us down. Make sure you tune in again on Monday for the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and Jay. We'll be back bigger, better, more awesome. More jaywalking. Pranked will be back. You never know who will call in on the hotline bling. We always do a great show, and we thank you, the listeners, for continuing to support us, tweet us. Make sure you use the Ruckus for tonight's show. Make sure you use TMPS for the morning show, and just thank you for giving us an opportunity to share our voice. So with that, we're going to sign off for the evening, and good night.